Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video I'm going to talk to you about what I call the lying Baker Act facility. And I don't mean as in lying down, I mean as in not telling you the truth. So I had a call from a family, I think it was on Wednesday. They had a loved one who was detained under the Baker Act, and they called me, I think it was 24 hours after it happened. And I said, great, this is what we need to do. Let's file to get her out. And they said, well, we're going to be speaking to the facility in the next hour, and we'd like to wait and see what they say. Okay, great. So an hour went by, and somebody from the facility called and said, okay, yeah, come down, come pick them up. 2 hours later, they called me back, and I said, what happened? They said, well, they told us to go down there and pick him up. So we did. And then when we got there, we were told he wasn't getting released. I said, okay, great, let's file something. Well, we're supposed to speak to them again in an hour. Okay, an hour goes by, and the same thing happened. I mean, they were told, come down and get them. They went down there, and the same exact thing. Oh, sorry, we've had a change of heart. And they kept getting all these different people from the facility saying, this person's getting out, they're getting out, they're getting out. And then, basically this just went on for a couple of days. And finally they said, okay, let's file something, which we did. And they were out that day. But, I see this a lot where families are trusting the people in the Baker Act facility. And I'm not suggesting that everybody that works in every Baker Act facility anywhere in the state of Florida is not honest with families. But there are a bunch of facilities that my office files petitions against on a routine basis. And routinely, I see people that were detained illegally. I see people who are being misled by members of the staff there, not being told the truth, being told to sign documents they don't need to sign, being told to sign documents in the hope their loved one will get out. In fact, those documents, typically a voluntary admission agreement, results in their loved one now being stuck indefinitely with no clock ticking and no due process. And so, look, I think we all want to, when we're dealing with medical professionals, we hope they're being honest with us. But my experience, my team's experience is that sometimes the folks in the facility are not honest. They're just not. And I'm sorry to tell you that, but it's what we experience. And so what I would tell you, as I think I've said in just about every video I've ever put out there about the Baker Act, is the minute your loved one is detained, you should be fighting like hell to get him out. And what I mean by fighting like hell is not calling up, not yelling at these folks, not threatening a lawyer or threatening a lawsuit. I mean retaining counsel and having a lawyer like us who's dealt with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these cases, and who, by the way, has had a family member Baker Act and was there when it happened. So we understand the Baker Act. And let's drag these guys into court and get your loved one out. And if the facility decides they want to dance and go a couple of rounds with my team, no problem. Everybody in my office is a trial lawyer. As prosecutor and defense lawyer, I've tried probably a couple of hundred jury trials. Everybody in the office is very, not only comfortable in the courtroom, but competent and excellent in the courtroom. And if this facility wants to try us on for size, I say bring it on. Most of the time, they don't want to deal with us because my team knows how to handle these cases and appropriately. And I'm just not going to tolerate facilities holding people illegally. So if your loved one has been taken, stop trying to sort of negotiate their way out. Stop, having as much faith as you'd like to, as we'd all like to have in our medical professionals, especially those folks in the behavioral health space, and fight like hell to get your loved one out. Because if you don't, and the facility decides to file something to keep them, and they get a court order, and I've seen it done even without the patient even knowing about it, that's when it becomes very difficult to get somebody out. So that's my suggestion for the day. I would love a thumbs up, and if you could subscribe to the channel, I'd be grateful, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.